Hello, my name is Ivan Mokrooussov, and that is my part of group presentation for topic Labrets for course GNet 1528 Bioarchaeology. If we look back into history, it will try to analyze some symbolic practices, such as piercing or, as example, stretching the lips to accommodate a labret. We can identify few major trends that help us better understand those practices and come up with some logical explanation or cultural stages of development in those societies. Mostly elaborate practices or any other examples of body modification associated with processes of social maturation. Some practices point out that in many communities of north area of Brazil, both men and women start to wear large wooden discs. They usually proceed with incision of different parts of the body as well as inserting large piece of wood into the perforation. In other practices includes were the large elliptical wooden lip discs, which were painted in bright red color by using ochrum. This pigment was made from seeds of Biha orellana shrub. Different societies in North Kayapo start to insert wooden plugs in early stages of body development at children's ears. This practice includes replacing wooden plugs by decorating loops of cotton after the weaning. During processes at early adulthood, boys start to stretch their lips. All those about, as well as other examples, show the role of body modification in Amazonian and North Coast communities as context of social maturation. Other point that can be retrieved from those analyses is body modification and where Labrets give some social position in these societies. For example, Seeger and Turner suggest this alteration of the lip often indicated with importance of speech. We can identify the body modification represents cultural influence and can be related to the social changes in society. I can honestly identify reason for this practice in modern communities. I can assume that it can be related to establishing social status of this personality, building some specific rules in our society. Some practices are trying to build connection between very painful labrets or stretching the flesh and phases of exploring and developing some instant self-awareness. Other word for that, continuous presence state of mind. Those practices were developed far in our past and still exist now. As some example of body modification can be described as hot sensation and lead to permanent state of presence. Thank you.